All right, good morning, everyone. My name is David Snitkof, and I'm a co-founder of Orchard Platform, which is a technology and infrastructure business for marketplace lending. What that means is that we build the technology to help apply marketplace funding across a wide variety of asset classes. So that includes working with institutional investors to help them deploy capital across originators in a scalable and data-driven way, and also working with all different types of loan originators to help them scale their businesses with the marketplace model. So in addition to our core business, we're also very passionate about building community in this new and exciting growing industry. So we publish extensive analytical research on our blog. We have a meetup group that now has over 1,300 members and events every single month in cities all around the US and soon around the world. And then many of you have seen our landscape, which is a graphical representation of how all the different pieces of this industry fit together. So we're based in New York, but we have global ambitions, and it's great to be back in London. Last time I was here was in November, which wasn't too long ago, but if you think about it, that was a very different time. Lending Club and On Deck were both private companies, and Orchard actually had half the employees that we do today, so things are changing quickly. So I was speaking to some of the AltFi people this morning, and they said that there would be over 350 people here today. And I thought, why? Why is that so exciting? Has anything really changed? On one hand, consumers and businesses need capital, and lenders are willing to provide that capital in exchange for interest revenue. That's been the case for thousands and thousands of years. So why is this so exciting? What's really different? Why are we all here? And one of the reasons for that is because technology is actually allowing us to access a new era in our economic civilization. And you know, in the beginning, thousands and thousands of years ago, we were hunter-gatherers. So every man for himself, fighting over scarce resources in a battle to the death. Not a lot of commerce, not really a lot of humanity. Then came the rise of villages and towns, where every village needed a cobbler, a butcher, a builder, and if you went to get a loan, you'd probably get that loan from someone that you know very well. And in fact, all lending was peer-to-peer. Then you had the industrial age with the rise of global megacorporations working at a very large global scale. So you had standardized processes, lots of efficiency, but sometimes at the cost of humanity. And this is a time where if you went to get a loan, you'd get it from a handful of very, very large banks. And the loan probably worked all right, but it was probably a very cookie-cutter product. And only really in the past 5-10 years has technology advanced to a state where companies can operate in a global way, but while maintaining their personality. It's actually a time in history where every big global corporation you could think of has a team of people engaging with their customers live on Twitter and getting real-time feedback, where an algorithm can predict what songs you'll listen to, what wine you ought to drink, even who you might want to marry. And if you decide to get a loan, you can get that not from a handful of capital providers, but online in a streamlined way through a marketplace. So this is really exciting stuff. Now, for any transaction to happen in any part of the economy, we need a price. And how is a price determined? In its most basic level, price is a function of supply and demand. But that's not really the whole story, right? There are a lot of things can interfere with an efficient price that can interfere with supply and demand. So there are a few different things. Let's say you're only trading with one or two counterparties. Your price is actually not determined by a market. It's determined by the whims of that one trading partner. In a similar vein, if the costs of a transaction are very high, you're less likely to take advantage of trading with multiple parties because you have to replicate that cost every single time. Also, if your switching costs are very high or the switching process is very laborious, again, you're much less likely to receive a fair price. So diversity really matters on both sides of a market. And the market is much more likely to be efficient, transparent, fair if you have a multiplicity of diverse players on both sides. And we're seeing that in lending now. So I'd like to talk about two examples in history, one bad and one good. And the first one actually comes from the US onion futures market. And so believe it or not, in the 1800s and early 1900s, there was a very active futures market in onions, and people traded futures actively, much like they trade other commodities. But in the mid-1950s, something happened. Two people manipulated the onion market, and after that one incident of market manipulation, legislators panicked. And they passed the Onion Futures Act of 1958. And to this day, there is no futures trading in onions in the United States. And as a result of that, onion prices are actually quite a bit more volatile than those of similar commodities. And they're much more prone to shortage and surplus. And it's something you might not notice if you're going to a market and onions are 30 cents a pound versus $1 a pound. But on a percentage basis, that's actually a lot of volatility. And if you're a larger onion producer, it's a big deal. So a much more hopeful story actually comes from the crop markets of Africa, where there was a time where individual small crop farmers were really at the whim of a single buyer who was buying their product. And that guy could say, all right, I want to buy this crop from you for this price. And they had no information and no data to really counteract that, and they weren't in a good position. But now over the past few years, farmers have started to rapidly adopt mobile technology to get real-time crop pricing data from across the markets. And this gives them the information that they need to negotiate in an intelligent way with buyers, and they're much more likely to get a fair price for their crop. So a more transparent market leads to better outcomes. Data is power. Now, in lending, we've seen this over the past 10 years, where the various online lending pioneers have shown the value of a marketplace. They've shown the value of transparency of data, of efficiency, of diversity in lending. And in doing so, they've created a market where it's better for borrowers. Borrowers can get loans at better rates, with better terms, with better customer experience, and they've created a very attractive new investment product for investment managers of all kinds. Now, this trend, though, isn't just limited to the online lenders we know and love. So now what we're seeing a lot is specialty finance companies of all stripes have begun to apply the marketplace model to different asset classes, whether that's equipment lending, invoice factoring, real estate, legal, medical, energy. Lenders of all stripes are using marketplace technology to create a much better customer experience and take advantage of the scale benefits of marketplace technology. So what we've seen is marketplace technology's ability to streamline lending to the tune of billions of dollars. What we see happening next is lenders of all kinds applying marketplace technology and taking this model across the lending universe. So not a multi-billion-dollar market, but a multi-trillion-dollar market. And this is one of the big areas of focus for the team at Orchard, as well as the partners we're working with at lenders of all kinds, both online and offline. So together we're working to take the best of technology and the best of humanity and create a global marketplace that's more efficient, transparent, and valuable for all participants. Thank you.